Dear colleagues, good morning. Before we resume the examination of item 7B, please note that the Bureau, at its fourth meeting this morning, recommended to the plenary that the examination of item 7 will resume once we have completed the examination of sub-item 7A, 7B, but the draft decision 45-7 only will be adopted on the 24th of September. However, please note that in case the discussion on item 7 is not finished by midday on the 16th of September, we will resume it after the examination of all nominations. It is suggested that during the examination of nominations recommended for inscription and presenting no particular potential issue, we proceed in a way to avoid repetitions of intervention aimed only at congratulating the concerned state party. Indeed, I will congratulate the state parties concerned on behalf of the committee after the inscription. To this extent, I will ask the cooperation of all committee members, as it would be preferable to uniformly apply this standards as from the beginning of the examination of all nominations. Concerning the request received from state parties to move the timing for the examination of their nominations, I wish to inform you that the following has been decided by the Bureau. The examination of ancient Giro, Tel Sultan, Palestine, 8B 36, will take place as the first nomination in the morning of 17th of September to allow a minister from the state of Palestine to attend. The examination of the Silk Road, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, 8B 13 will take place immediately after Giro in the morning of the session of the 17th of September to allow the participant of a high-level delegations from Uzbekistan. The examination of the cold winter desert of Turan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, 8B 47 will take place as the first nomination in the morning of 20 September to allow the participant of high-level delegation from Uzbekistan. In addition, I would like to inform you that the drafting group established on the Sundarbans yesterday will meet tonight at 6 p.m. We will therefore examine this item tomorrow afternoon once they have completed their work. Thank you very much. Point of order, Rahman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning to everyone. 2 points, Mr. Chair. The first point is regarding item 7. When we discussed item 7 here, we agreed that we close it at the end of its discussion. But today you are announcing that you are going to close it on the 24th. And this is not the way that we discussed in this matter here. The second point is regarding the Bangladesh item. Yesterday you gave 24 hours. 24 hours is ending at 13:15 today. But now I can see that you are putting it for another day. I cannot accept this as I am delivering this file, because they should have performed yesterday. If they have failed to perform yesterday, I am going to open it on the, after lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Regarding the opening of the discussion of item 7, the adoption of item 7, it will take place after completing 7A and 7B. But once the nominations start on Saturday afternoon, then we will postpone the draft decision until the 24th. But the discussion will take place. I hope that's clear to you.
I don't know. I need to hear from the room now. The discussion that we close this discussion at the end of discussion of item 7. If they are in agreement, I'm in agreement. But this is what we discussed before. That's what I'm saying. Even when we discussed, you agreed that we are going to close it when we finish item 7. If you want to delay it and the room are in agreement, I'm in agreement. I have no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We have explained this and addressed it to the Bureau, and I think we have consensus on this, unless there is someone would like to have another different. Belgium?
Yes, thank you, Chair, for giving me the floor. I obviously understand the remark made by Oman. We were given 24 hours by the committee, and that time expires at the beginning of this afternoon. But unfortunately, we were unable to dive into the amendment yesterday in the evening. We thought we needed some time to get clarification on some issues, and that's what we discussed yesterday in the evening with Bangladesh in the room, with Oman also taking part in the discussions. I think that was a very fruitful discussion that will help us in working on the amendment. And the thing is, I myself am not available at noon, unfortunately, to do the drafting group then, because I will be taking part in a side event. So the earliest possible moment to have the actual drafting group, unfortunately, was 6 p.m. Today. That was proposed yesterday to the people present in the room. Bangladesh was also there, and I had the impression that we agreed that that was acceptable, and that was what we were going to propose to the Bureau this morning. So that's what I can tell you.
Thank you very much. Belgium? Japan?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to state our positions on the 2 points that were mentioned here. First of all, on the question of item 7, yes, I think we have agreed that we are going to discuss this after we complete the discussions on item 7 and item 7A and B. But at the same time, we have to understand that some delegation, high-level delegations are coming for inscription items, and therefore, the agreement, I believe, was that if we have time after A and B, we will do this. But the inscription items have to start on Saturday afternoon. So that is fine from our perspective. Now, on the issue of the Bangladesh file, I understand that the positions are still a little bit far apart. And as you can probably see from the drafting or amendments, it will be difficult to deal with those amendments which are actually far apart from each other in such an open setting like this. So I would appreciate if Belgium can continue to this process up until tomorrow afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Sultanate Oman, is it clear now about the discussion and adoption of item 7, also regarding the Bangladesh file?
For item 7, I do agree, as the room is agreeing, but I don't want to disagree with others. Thank you. As for the Bangladesh, file, I have to go back to the state party, and I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. India?
Excellency, I would request you to look on the left side of yours as well more often, so we get to see your smiling face. Excellency, we would like to support Oman. The points raised by Oman are very pertinent, and just to say that the Bureau reached an agreement does not satisfy us, because it was in the House that the statement was made through your chair. And of course, we do understand that there are state parties which are not available. But whenever a decision is taken to make a working group, it is a serious decision. And there was time allocated yesterday, and it was incumbent on all to have been present there. If a consensus has not been reached, that means it has not been reached. So we would like to support Oman and also the state party of Bangladesh, because even though Bangladesh is not a member of the committee, ultimately the entire country of Bangladesh is waiting, the government of Bangladesh is waiting, and everyone is waiting as to what is going to be decided. So the point and the path taken by Oman will be supported by us. So we are in your hands, Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. As Belgium mentioned, the State Party of Bangladesh were in consensus and agreement to continue this afternoon, right? Belgium? So,
They were in the room when we discussed meeting at 6, yes.
thank you for the clarification. Sultanate Oman. So regarding the update and postponing the opening of the Bangladesh file, we look forward to and hear from you about the updates when you consult with them. Thank you, Your Excellency. So dear colleagues, we are now resuming our examination of item 7B, which concerns the state of conservation report of the World Heritage Properties. We are now considering the cultural properties located in the African region. For the property to be discussed, Rock Hewen Churches, Liberia, Ethiopia, I would like to give the floor to the delegation of South Africa to present the committee the reasons why it made such a request. You may have the floor, South Africa.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to you and to distinguished delegates. Chairperson, South Africa has requested the opening of the draft decision on Lalibela to propose minor amendments to paragraph 6. This amendment is of a technical nature and it will not change the materiality of the decision. The advisory body, ECOMOS, has been consulted on this technical amendment, and we request you, Chairperson, to request ECOMOS to confirm that their view on the proposed amendment. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor and invite the Secretariat and ECOMOS to respond to this comment.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, distinguished member of the committee. Chair, the proposed amendment to paragraph 6 of the draft decision has indeed been discussed between the State Party, the Secretariat, and ECOMOS in a meeting held on 10th September. This dialogue allowed a better understanding of the current situation in Lalibela, which has changed following the development of research and consultation with stakeholders, in particular local communities. Hence, the situation called for a pragmatic approach introduced in this paragraph, allowing a possible alternative to the current shelter. ECOMOS and the Secretariat would like to thank the State Party to have given us this opportunity to clarify some questions that remained about this paragraph, which resulted in consensus on the proposed amendment. Chair, ECOMOS wanted also to add something.
Thank you. ECOMOS, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The advisory bodies consider that new shelter options should not be seen as a final solution, but rather as a solution in which constant monitoring and data collection provide feedback for improvement and adaptation should these structures be found to have unforeseen negative impacts on the rock-hewn churches. ECOMOS welcomes the inclusion of the request for continued consultation with the advisory bodies, and we remain at the disposal of the State Party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now I would like to open the floor to the committee members. So I see none. And then I would like to invite you to adopt the draft decision 45Com 7B.35 concerning this property. But before doing so, I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have received one amendment from the distinguished delegation of South Africa, which is supported by the distinguished delegation of Rwanda. The amendment is to change para 9 and para 12. I'm sorry, it starts with changes in para 6. The amendment is as seen in the screen. It's proposed by the distinguished delegation of South Africa and supported by the distinguished delegations of Oman, Russian Federation. The revised para 6 reads as, considers that ESIA and the HIA pointed out that not enough data has been collected yet to define conclusively a state of environmental equilibrium for each of the 11 churches, nor precisely what impact shelters might have to support the idea of permanent shelters, and requests that a robust monitoring and maintenance regimen be developed on a partnership basis with the aim of involving local communities and implemented as soon as possible, and therefore also considers that the shelter option should continue to be an evolving solution that could be reconsidered and reassessed in the future on the basis of feedback from local communities and ongoing monitoring in consultation with the World Heritage Center and advisory bodies. The next revised para. That's the only minor change in para 6. The remaining draft decision stays as it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mexico.
Gracias, señor presidente, y buenos días a todos. Queremos sumarnos a los países en la propuesta. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Mali.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le Mali soutient les amendements proposés.
Thank you very much. India.
Thank you, Chair. We would also like to align ourselves with South Africa, Oman, and Russian Federation for this draft decision.
Thank you very much. Jamhuriyat Masr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My delegation would like to join other countries as well supporting this amendment. Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا. دولة قطر.
نود الانضمام إلى مقترح التعديل وشكرا.
شكرا جزيلا. تايلاند.
Thailand would like to join as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Japan.
Thank you, Chair. We also support this amendment simply because we always encourage to have a consultation, mutual consultation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mamlaka Arabia Saudiyya.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Chairman. We'd like to support amendments. Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا. Nigeria.
Thank you, Chair. Nigeria joins South Africa and other countries to support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. St. Vincent and Grenadines.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines support the amendments presented by South Africa. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Belgium.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. We also would like to express our support and co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Zambia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zambia also joins the rest in supporting the amendment.
Thank you so much. Bulgaria.
Bulgaria also wants to support the proposed amendments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Italy.
Italy supports also the amendment.
Thank you very much. Mexico.
Señor presidente, no está reflejado nuestro nombre aún en el documento. Gracias.
On the way. Greece.
Thank you very much and good morning, Mr. Chair. We would also like to support this amendment.
Thank you very much. Argentina.
Thank you, Mr. President. We support this amendment.
Thank you very much. So I recommend that we proceed examining the draft decision, para by para. I think from paragraph 1 to paragraph 5, there are no amendments. Do you agree to accept them as it is? I see no objection. Adopted. Paragraph 6, we have an amendment. Do you agree to this proposal? I see no objections. Adopted as amended. From paragraph 7 to paragraph 14, there are no amendments. Do you agree to accept them as it is? I see no objection. Adopted. So I would like you, my dear colleagues, to adopt the draft decision as a whole. If there are no objections, I declare that the draft decision 45Com 7B.35 adopted as amended. For the next property to be discussed, Lamu Old Town, Kenya, I would like to give the floor to the delegation of Rwanda to present to the committee the reasons why it made such a request. You may have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. Allow me to draw your attention to several issues raised concerning the Lamu Old Town, which we would like to share more light on. Rwanda delegation is of the view that the section in Para 9 requesting the state parties of Kenya, and I quote, to provide an update on the composition and functioning of the committee since its re-establishment is not necessary. Kenya has been proactive in involving communities in governance of the World Heritage property through the Lamu Heritage Committee, comprised of different stakeholders. Its major mandate is to manage matters relating to sustainable tourism on the heritage property. Chair, requiring the State Party of Kenya to provide details about the committee's composition and its functionality may not serve any purpose as at the center level. The interest for the center is that heritage governance involves communities. Alternatively, on Para 12, it should be noted that the State Parties of Kenya has shelved the plan of constructing a coal plant in Lamu. As you are aware, there are other alternative sources of energy being used by the government of Kenya. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. I would like to pass the floor to the Secretariat and ECOMOS if they have any comment to this response.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, distinguished member of the committee. The amendment proposed to paragraph 9 related to the efforts to enhance good governance and inclusive management of the property by engaging stakeholders and communities in activity related to sustainable tourism for the property. The efforts toward re-establishing the Lamu Heritage Community. A joint UNESCO, ECOMOS, and ICROM reactive monitoring mission visited the property from 23rd to 20th July of this year, following the invitation by the State Party on 30th June 2023. While the mission report is not yet available, we expect it to report on the composition and function of this committee since its re-establishment. As to the paragraph amendment, paragraph 12, Chair, the communication that the Amu coal fire plant project is officially cancelled is welcomed. We would like to state that this information was not included in the State Party's recent State of Conservation report, hence the wording of the draft decision. We therefore see no particular objection to amend it in the sense of proposed by the State Party. Chair, however, the Secretariat and ECOMOS want to suggest a little bit of language here to finalize this paragraph and to suggest that the text of amendment should read as follows, if you allow, Chair. Note with satisfaction that Lamu coal plant has been halted, and it requests that any future development proposed to meet the electricity need for the region be subjected to EIA and HIA to ensure that there is no negative impact in OUV of the property. Mr. Chair, ECOMOS wanted to add something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. ECOMOS, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The advisory bodies have taken note of the efforts made by the State Party in the first place to address the conservation issues at the property. including the inventorying of the physical state of conservation of its built fabric, as well as the cancellation of the Lamu coal plant. We remain at the disposal of the state party to provide advice, and we welcome continued dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ikamus. So I'd like to see if there are any comments or interventions from the committee. Also, if Rwanda is okay with the proposed language from the Secretariat. You may have the floor, Rwanda.
Thank you, Chair. Can we have the language on the screen, please?
Indeed.
Thank you.
The rapporteur, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will show the language on the screen. This is for the amendment proposed by Rwanda, supported by the distinguished delegation of South Africa, and the changes made by the Secretariat. So for the draft decision 45 Com 7B, point 126, we go to para 9. The revised para takes note of the efforts to include stakeholders and community in activities related to sustainable tourism for the property and the efforts towards re-establishing the Lamu Heritage Committee. We can go to para 12, which is the next revised para where Secretariat has suggested some changes. The revised para says, notes that alternative solutions to the Lamu coal plant proposed to meet the electricity needs of the region were halted, and requests that any proposed future development be subject to EIAs/HIAs to ensure that there are no negative impacts on the OUV of the property. I think the Secretariat has suggested that we change it to notes with satisfaction that the Lamu coal plant has been halted and requests that any future development proposed to meet the electricity needs of the region be subjected to EIAs/HIAs to ensure that there are no negative impacts on the OUV of the property. So that's the suggested change by the Secretariat, if we can have consensus on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rwanda, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Would you please give the floor to our Kenyan delegations? They would like to have some clarification on the proposed wording from the Secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kenyan delegation.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dixon, returned from Kenya. We welcome the amendment, and in regard to conducting EIS and HIS in terms of project development in the country, is a procedure that is done before any project is implemented, and in regard with the property of Lamu Old Town, that is going to be adhered to. Thank you, Chair.
So I would like to see if there are any comments from committee members. Belgium.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, we support. We thank all parties involved for improving the decision, and we support the amendments. Thank you.
Russia.
Спасибо большое, господин председатель. Мы бы хотели прояснить один вопрос. Вот вы пишете о всех будущих проектах, которые отвечают потребностям региона. Все эти проекты каким-то образом относятся к объекту всемирного наследия?
So just wanted to clarify something, like if you want to proceed with examination of the draft decision, then we have to close the debate. That's what I'm, so we are reflecting on the Secretariat's suggestions. So if there are no interventions or comments before we examine the draft decision and go to this point, paragraph 12. So, Mexico?
Señor presidente, queremos reconocer el esfuerzo del Estado parte y sumarnos en la enmienda. Gracias.
Thank you. Rwanda?
Thank you, Chair. We would like to stick to the proposed original amendment. Thank you.
Ethiopia?
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. My delegation subscribes to the original amendment as indicated by South Africa and Rwanda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Egypt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My delegation would like to support the initial amendment presented by Rwanda. Thank you.
Mexico?
Olvidé bajar la placa, presidente.
India?
Thank you, Chair. We would also like to align with ourselves with our friends Rwanda, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Egypt for the original amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now I think we move to the examination of the draft decision. Nigeria.
Thank you, Chair. Nigeria also supports the original amendment by Rwanda to this DR.
Thank you very much. Argentina.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would like to support the original agenda.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So I think we should move to the examination of the draft decision, paragraph by paragraph. We can move to the top. From paragraph 1 to paragraph 8, there are no amendments. Do you accept them as they are? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 9, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this proposal? I see no objections. Adopted as amended. Paragraph 10 and paragraph 11, there are no amendments. Do we accept them as they are? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 12, we have a proposal. And do we have an agreement on this draft proposal or not? Russian Federation.
Спасибо большое, господин председатель. Я так понимаю, что у нас есть поправка, предложенная Руандой и рядом стран. Мы хотели бы присоединиться также к этой поправке, и мы согласны.
Thank you very much. So we have the original text So I'd like to ask the Secretariat to put the original text on the screen. So I'd like to ask the rapporteur to read out the proposed draft by Rwanda. You may have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the original proposed amendment reads as, notes that alternative solutions to the Lamu coal plant proposed to meet the electricity needs of the region were halted, and requests that any proposed future development be subject to EIAs/HIAs to ensure that there are no negative impacts on the OUV of the property. End of para. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any objections on this proposed amendment? So I see no objections. Adopted as amended. Paragraph 13, there is no amendment. Do we agree to accept it as it is? I see no objections. Adopted. I invite you to adopt the paragraph as a whole. Are there any objections? So, dear colleagues, I declare that the draft decision 45.7b.126 adopted as amended. For the next property to be discussed, Thimelig Ohinga Archaeological Site, Kenya. I would like to give the floor to the delegation of Rwanda again to present to the committee the reasons why it made such a request. You may have the floor, Rwanda.
Shukran Jazira.
Aman, point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before we are going on this item, we have just seen there is intervention from the Secretariat, and they amended the amended decision. I would like to hear from the legal advisor, is that legal or not? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The legal advisor, you may have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, this is the first time I take the floor, and I would like to congratulate you on your appointment to this position. And in response to the question by the distinguished delegate of Oman, the Secretariat may make a proposal, but my understanding is that the decision is made by the committee. When the committee accepted by consensus the decision, it has accepted the amendment. It is not an amendment by the Secretariat, but it becomes an amendment of the committee as soon as the committee has decided upon it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Going back to Rwanda, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The draft amendment proposed is to replace the word communities with landowners. Although this is a slight modification, it has its significance. The reason of the state party's preference is because, as concerns Thimelig Ohinga land acquisition, Kenyan authorities, through the National Museum of Kenya and the land commissions, has been dealing with individual landowners of the affected land holding and not the entire community. The agreement to increase the buffer zone of the property was made with the family within the buffer zone adjacent to the Thimelig Ohinga World Heritage property. The State Party of Kenya, through the National Museum of Kenya, entered into an agreement with the local landowners to give compensation for extra land. The landowners are those whose lands share a boundary with the perimeter fence of the Thimelig Ohinga site. The negotiations on land sale and their rights is thus restricted to the museum and the individual landowners. Other stakeholders are only involved at the acquisition formalization level. Chair, the stakeholders at this level are the National Land Commission and the local administration. Therefore, no other community is involved where we are dealing with individual land and the related processes in its acquisition. The correction might seem minor and not very critical for discussion. However, the challenge will be that the minor change from community to landowners will greatly help the state party to better organize the sites, land management and conservation, thereby avoiding unwarranted litigation which will likely arise and delay agreements which have already been formalized between the landowners and the government of Kenya. The generalization of the term community as regards Timlish Ohinga is potential for disputes that can jeopardize the site's conservation and curtail positive action by the state parties. The issue is therefore the interpretation that the word can have in Kenya in the management of the site. Chair, the specific issue in the draft decision is extending the buffer zone and therefore is about acquisition of land. The land acquisition is as per the state parties' expertise in managing the site and in line with the provision of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and the Land Act November 6 of 2012, providing for the individual landowners sharing boundaries with the site. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass the floor to the Secretariat.
Thank you very much, Chair. Distinguished committee members. We'd like to point out the reason for the reference made to the communities in initial draft decision, insisting on the importance of retaining this word as it is. We know that in the land acquisition process, the landowner will be the main stakeholder, but we want to stress that the process should guarantee the right of all community members. Indeed, Timlich Ohinga is a place with a strong meaning of local communities. The association local communities include a whole group of people, not only landowners. This is highlighted in the statement of the protection and management requirement, which was adopted with this committee at the time of inscription in 2018, Decision 42 Coms 8B14, and I quote, "The legal protection is further strengthened by traditional rules and taboo maintained by the community leaders, which insist in the protection of the property and its surrounding flora, fauna, and again, the property serves as a meeting venue for community and remain a location for community rituals, in particular in time of crisis. These, as well as community-based maintenance strategy, need to be continued to retain the strong involvement and attachment of the community." I quote. Mr. Chair, ICOMOS wanted to add that.
Thank you very much. ICOMOS, you may have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. Draft paragraph 3 relates to the efforts and progress made by the state party to extend the buffer zone on the western side of the property boundary. In that regard, we would like to add that the actions of the state party to acquire land not owned by the state to extend the boundaries of the buffer zone are welcome, but ICOMOS has in the past, including in its evaluation of the nomination preceding the decision of the committee to inscribe the property on the World Heritage List, indicated that ownership of land by the state is not a prerequisite for the extension of the boundaries of the property. ICOMOS therefore considers the word communities, as proposed in the draft decision, as appropriate and aligned with the intentions of the Convention to maintain OUV. We also consider it resonant with the 5 Cs strategy adopted by this committee, which aims to enhance the role of all concerned communities in the implementation of the World Heritage Convention. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to pass the floor to the Director, Mr. Lazar.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Je voulais juste rajouter que cette question, effectivement, est très importante. Le délégué, le distingué délégué du Rwanda, Monsieur l'Ambassadeur, a effectivement raison de mettre cette question au centre, effectivement, des propriétaires des propriétaires de ces espaces fonciers. Mais c'est vrai que Timlich Ohinga est un lieu extrêmement important pour les communautés. Alors, peut-être qu'une des solutions, évidemment, que le comité pourrait considérer, c'est effectivement de garder les deux, c'est-à-dire d'avoir à la fois les droits des communautés et les droits des propriétaires. Et je crois que ça pourrait être une solution qui ferait que, effectivement, vous protégeriez d'une certaine manière les deux. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Mais bien sûr, c'est à vous, monsieur, le comité, de décider de cette question quand vous examinerez le projet de décision. Merci.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. Do we have any comments or interventions from the floor? Okay, I see there are no interventions. South Africa?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We would like to propose that the state party be invited to clarify, because we understand that there are provisions in terms of the Land Act, what landowners refers to. So maybe if we can get clarification from the state party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The concerns. Okay. Russian Federation.
Спасибо большое, господин председатель. Мы бы хотели все-таки поддержать наших коллег из Руанды и Южной Африки. И, насколько мы понимаем, речь идет о приобретении земель. В случае приобретения земель мы имеем дело с правом собственников этих земель. Права сообществ не относятся к этому вопросу. Поэтому было бы логично, на мой взгляд, на наш взгляд, говорить о правах собственников земель. Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much. So I would like to pass the floor to the state party, Kenya, to respond to the question addressed by South Africa.
Thank you, Chair. In regard to the land ownership in Kenya, land is classified into three in terms of registration: public, private, and communal. And in regard to the property that is in question, it has been, the party has had discussions with individual landowners on the acquisition of the land around the property. And the efforts are basically towards securing the buffer zone for the site, which is in line with the provisions of the 2012 Land Act, that it will facilitate the process. And that's an effort that the party has done so far. The landowner is part of the community, and it does not negate the involvement of community in regard to the process. It's just a process of fastening, just based on the Land Act. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'd like to go back to the committee members, if we have any comment on this. So I'd like to invite you to examine the draft decision 45Com 7B.127 concerning this property, but before doing so, I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have one amendment from the distinguished delegation of Rwanda, co-authored by the distinguished delegation of South Africa. The change is to para 3 on replacement of the term communities by landowners. The revised para reads as, welcomes the information provided by the state party concerning the progress made to extend the buffer zone on the western side of the property boundary, encourages the state party to ensure that the rights of landowners are respected in the processes of land acquisition and requests the state party to continue implementing the recommended extensions to the property boundary at its southeastern end near the entrance to Kokech and the extension and demarcation of the buffer zone, and to submit a proposal for minor boundary modification once these are in place. Rest of the paras stay as they are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to examine the draft decision paragraph by paragraph. So paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, there are no amendments. Do you agree to accept them as they are? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 3, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this proposal? So I see no objections. Adopted as amended. Paragraph 4 and paragraph 5 and paragraph 6 and paragraph 7 and 8, there are no amendment. Do you agree to accept them as they are? I see no objections. So adopted. Dear colleagues, I would like to invite you to adopt the whole draft decision, and therefore I declare the draft decision 45.7b.127 adopted as amended. For the next property to be discussed, Stone Town of Zanzibar, United Republic of Tanzania, I would like to give the floor to the delegation of Zambia to present to the committee reason why it made such a request. You may have the floor, Zambia.
Chairperson, Zambia has requested the opening of the draft decision 45.7b.37 on the Stone Town of Zanzibar, United Republic of Tanzania, for discussion, for reasons mainly related to the language of the text that was used, which we consider demoralizing on the part of the State Party of Tanzania in the context of the World Heritage Convention. We also note that there is some text which is creating some ambiguity. We therefore propose for the amendment of the decision so as to replace or remove some of the text. Chairperson, we wish to acknowledge the fundamental obligation of the State Party of Tanzania in advancing the socio-economic development of her people, while also subscribing to the developmental challenges associated with this ambition, which are by no means unique to Zanzibar. However, we also note that the State Party of Tanzania has intensified efforts in addressing these challenges in the recent years, efforts that should be acknowledged, encouraged, and further supported. Chairperson, in the text proposed for amendment in the draft decision, we are particularly concerned with the wording in para 15 of the draft decision, indicating an indication to danger list the site. We are of the opinion that this step would be premature, given the ongoing size and diversity of concerted conservation efforts on the ground, which in our knowledge are already bearing positive fruit. It is with this background that we have therefore submitted proposed amendments on this decision for consideration. Finally, Chair, we wish to request that the State Party of Tanzania be allowed to take the floor to further elaborate on the proposed amendments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass the floor to the Secretariat if they have any comment on this.
Thank you, Chair, dear members of the committee. First, on a more general note, please allow me to inform you that in response to the committee's previous decision, 44.7b12, the State Party invited on 22nd May of this year a joint World Heritage Center ICOMOS and ICROM reactive monitoring mission to the Stone Town of Zanzibar World Heritage Property, which recently took place from 17th to 21st of July. The mission report is not yet available, and its findings and recommendations could therefore not be analyzed for the present report. We would like to seize this opportunity to thank the State Party for having facilitated this mission and also for having provided additional information in its aftermath. Now, regarding paragraph 10, the Secretariat would like to stress and recall the importance of the ongoing dialogue between the State Party, the World Heritage Center, and the advisory bodies, including through the participation in the proposed scientific committee. Indeed, a meeting with that scientific committee took place on 16th of January 2023, and the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies remain committed to continuing this dialogue for the benefit of the rehabilitation of the House of Wonders. In that same spirit, if you'll allow me to suggest on paragraph 14, which has been added as a proposed amendment, we would like to recommend adding the advisory bodies to be inserted after in collaboration with the World Heritage Center. ICOMOS would like to make a few additional observations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass the floor to ICOMOS.
Thank you very much, Chair. Members of the committee, ICOMOS appreciates the opportunity to provide additional information to the committee. The state of conservation of Stone Town of Zanzibar has been a cause of concern for a number of years. Since 2010, the state of conservation of the property has been assessed by 4 reactive monitoring missions. Additionally, over that same period, 4 advisory missions have visited the property to provide the state party with advice on specific challenges. Despite these efforts, the state of conservation of the property today remains a cause of great concern. On specific amendment proposals, we would like to address specifically paragraphs 3, 13, and 16. Regarding the Stone Town Conservation and Heritage Management Plan, referred to in paragraph 3 of the draft decision, the State Party, in response to the committee's request, recorded in Decision 44-7B12 in 2021, submitted in that same year a draft management plan for review. The plan was assessed by ICOMOS in the form of a technical review dated November 2021. ICOMOS recommended that a number of critical aspects needed to be addressed to achieve a plan that was fit for purpose. In its State of Conservation report submitted 2022, the State Party reported that the plan was being revised based on recommendations of the technical review. Moreover, paragraph 3 of the draft decision, as originally drafted, recalls the recommendation of the November 2021 technical review. An appropriate and functioning management plan can only be achieved based on a thorough understanding of the attributes that contribute to the OUV of a property, and in the statutory context of the Convention, in alignment with the operational guidelines. The decision, as originally drafted before you, allows the committee to provide guidance to the State Party on the appropriate steps it could take to revise the management plan. On paragraph 13, the State Party, in its 2021 State of Conservation report, noted that 15% of the buildings in the property require immediate interventions to safeguard them, and that it has been struggling to secure funding for conservation works. The poor physical state of conservation of the property therefore remains of utmost concern to us. It is therefore respectfully advised that the committee retain the original formulation of the paragraph, as this would be consistent with its past decisions. With regards to paragraph 16, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, in 2021, this committee, in decision 44-7B12, paragraph 11, recorded that, and I quote, if not addressed, the lack of effective conservation management combined with the poor state of conservation of the property and development pressures could warrant a future inscription of the property on the list of World Heritage in Danger, in accordance with paragraph 179 of the operational guidelines. I would like to conclude with the following. Inscription of the property on the list of World Heritage in Danger is not what ICOMOS advises at this point in time, but it is appropriate to pre-warn the State Party that the property is close to meeting conditions that would warrant inscription on the list of World Heritage in Danger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to see if there are any requests from the floor. Sultanate Oman.
شكرا سيد الرئيس. تود سلطنة عمان الإشادة بالتقرير المعد من قبل مركز التراث العالمي والأكوموس حول هذا الموقع، كما أننا نثني على جمهورية تنزانيا على جهودها الكبيرة خلال السنوات الماضية لمعالجة ملاحظات الهيئات الاستشارية والتي تمت الإشارة إليها في تقرير الهيئات الاستشارية. أهم هذه الجهود هي إكمال خطة إدارة التراث وحماية المدينة الحجرية لعام 2020. هذه الخطوة هي إشارة هامة حول التزام الدولة بالحفاظ على القيمة الاستثنائية العالمية وعناصرها المختلفة. كما أننا نؤكد على أهمية التواصل والتنسيق بين الدولة الطرف ومركز التراث العالمي والهيئات الاستشارية عن طريق إرسال كافة الوثائق والتفاصيل المطلوبة. هذه الخطوة نراها هامة جدا، كما نؤيد القرار المعدل. شكرا.
شكرا جزيلا. Belgium.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question to the State Party and two questions to probably the Secretariat. The question to the State Party relates to the identification and analysis of attributes, something we have all been doing these past years within the framework of the periodic reporting. So I was wondering if this is something that has been concluded yet, or if this is something that still needs to be, it still needs some work. The questions to the Secretariat, we are a bit puzzled with the reference to being in line with the operational guidelines, so I would like to know why this is in the original draft decision. And also, there is also a reference to the composition of the scientific committee, and I'm not really clear because I understood from what you explained a few minutes ago that you have met the committee, so I would assume that you are aware of its composition. And if this is still something that needs more clarification, is this a point that needs to be considered by the committee, or is it sufficient that it is that the Secretariat is informed and that the advisory body can look into it? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass the floor to South Africa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. South Africa has considered carefully the draft decision, and like the State Party of Zambia, which is proposing an amendment, our view is that paragraph 15 does not reflect an appreciation of the efforts by the State Party as it predicts a negative outcome. South Africa believes that as much as danger listing is intended to be an important intervention as a tool to correct factors affecting the state of conservation of the property, this measure should be used carefully to avoid exacerbating the challenges that properties may already be experiencing. We also welcome the engagement that has taken place between the State Party and the Secretariat. However, where the State Party is continuously working to find solutions, as is the case of Stone Town of Zanzibar, the language the committee uses should thus be encouraging. The mention of danger listing, we feel, is preemptive, especially before a property meets the conditions that justifies an inscription onto the danger list. This can have unintended consequences for sites like Stone Town, which we know is very dependent on tourism, and danger listing may cause unnecessary reputational damage and may result in tourism declines. We therefore urge the committee to thus consider positively the proposal by the State Party of Zambia, as we believe the reference to danger listing is not appropriate at this stage. We also request, Chairperson, that you invite the State Party to clarify certain elements. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll pass the floor to Mali.
Monsieur le Président, la ville de Pierre de Zanzibar est un magnifique exemple des villes marchandes côtières swahili. Nous notons avec satisfaction que l'État parti de Zanzibar, Tanzanie a achevé en 2020 le plan de conservation et de gestion de ce site et a surtout mis en œuvre une nouvelle structure de gestion irrélative. La Tanzanie s'est également engagée à mettre en œuvre des modifications législatives pour conformer et aligner le système juridique. De même, Nous félicitons l'État partie pour avoir élaboré une nouvelle proposition pour le développement du bazar d'Arajani et pour l'avoir soumise à une étude d'impact sur le patrimoine. Ajoutons que l'État partie mène activement des actions allant dans le sens de mieux protéger et préserver ce site des menaces périlleuses. Toutefois, des difficultés demeurent et c'est pourquoi nous soutenons l'appel à une mobilisation accrue de la communauté internationale afin qu'elle apporte davantage son soutien financier et technique à la Tanzanie. Cela permettra de mieux soutenir la mise en œuvre de mesures de conservation de biens. Au regard de tous ces éléments, nous soutenons les amendements proposés par la Tanzanie. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone from committee members? So now I would like to invite the State Party to take the floor to respond to the committee's questions and statement addressed by Zambia, Belgium, and South Africa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Since I'm taking the floor for the first time, allow me to express my gratitude to have this opportunity to clarify on the situation of Zanzibar Stone Town World Heritage Site with respect to draft 45Com7B.37. I would also like to express my heartfelt condolences from the government of the people of the United Republic of Tanzania following the disastrous earthquake that took place in the Kingdom of Morocco and the floods that hit the Republic of Libya, which led to the loss of thousands of lives. Besides, I wish to congratulate you on the manner in which you are leading these deliberations on this committee session. Chairperson, we have noticed the draft decision is inclined to an intention to danger list the Zanzibar Stone Town. To us, such an orientation could signal a serious deterioration of the outstanding universal value of the site as we speak. To the contrary, my government has taken major changes towards improvement of the conservation status of the site since our last reporting, and the impact of these efforts is clearly evident. These updates were communicated to the World Heritage Center, but unfortunately, they are not reflected in this decision. The provisions of this decision, therefore, appear to contradict the actual situation on the ground. Chairperson, the United Republic of Tanzania has declared full support and commitment, including increased and sizable spending to ensure a full safeguarding of the Stone Town of Zanzibar. This has been fully communicated, well received and appreciated by the citizens of Zanzibar, including the local communities, who are now actively engaged in conservation activities. Several major conservation projects are also underway, some supported by external partners. It is our humble opinion that the strong political leverage that exists, coupled with the active conservation interventions on the ground, should be upheld, encouraged, and supported rather than unnoticed. Further to this, the identification of the properties that was mentioned earlier, the status was done since 2019. Chairperson, in this regard, we would like to support the amendments proposed by a distinguished delegate of Zambia. I humbly submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like also now to pass the floor to the Secretariat to respond to the question addressed by State of Belgium.
Thank you, Chair. I will first leave the floor to ICOMOS. They will respond to most of the questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable Delegate from Belgium. You posed three questions regarding the Conservation Management Plan. That was the identification of attributes, alignment with the operational guidelines, and then you requested further information on the Scientific Committee. Is that correct? Yes. So with regards to the management plan, it was submitted, it was reviewed, and in that review, ICOMOS recommended that more attention be given to the identification of attributes, as what had been identified was not adequate to provide for a clear understanding of conservation and management needs. With regards alignment with the operational guidelines, the same applied. ICOMOS recommended that the management plan be amended to, for instance, include reference to paragraph 172 and paragraph 118 bis of the operational guidelines. With regard to the Scientific Committee for the rehabilitation of the House of Wonders, We have had one meeting on invitation of the State Party. That was in January this year. We had discussions. Those discussions focused not primarily on the House of Wonders. Information has been submitted to the Secretariat. That was on 5 September and 13 September this year. We've not had time to respond to those submissions yet, but we will do so in due course. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You may have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I just wanted to add, because something as I've been listening to the committee members, I think the committee has this important responsibility, of course, to mobilize itself to support any World Heritage property which is in need of a broader mobilization to support. And I think this is what you have been doing with regard to this property that you are examining. And if you recall, the past decisions that you have taken with regard to this property, where of course you have expressed a number of concerns, you have expressed a number of support, a number of requests to the countries. I think this draft decision, it was built in relation also with the past decision that you have taken. And I'd like to just to reassure everyone that the Secretariat and the advisory bodies have continued to support the State Party to continue improve the state of conservation. But the property, it's still in need of support. And I think paragraph 15 reflects the need to continue mobilize the international community, mobilize the committee to continue support the State Party in its efforts to safeguard the OUV of this property. I just wanted to clarify this and then to assure you that that's exactly what both the World Heritage Center and the advisory body have been doing. And I think it is an opportunity to continue supporting the State Party, and that's the reason why paragraph 15, it's actually a very positive paragraph, because it first recalls the need for a broad mobilization to preserve the OUV of this property. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. So I'd like to hear from the committee if they have any comments or interventions. South Africa.
We try to save. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We hear what the Secretariat is saying. We are just not sure whether it is appropriate. We, however, still maintain our support for the decision on paragraph 15, that the threat of danger listing has to be removed. It's a very negative statement that really has consequences for the State Party. So we'll propose that the amendment as proposed be accepted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Belgium.
Thank you, Chair. I think we would like to join the statement made by the Director. It is in the spirit of the Convention to, as a global community, make sure that we can preserve the world heritage of all mankind. So in terms of what is now paragraph 16 in the amendment, we at the very least would like to keep the idea of a broad mobilization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sultan Oman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would like to concur with South Africans' comment. I think it is premature to put that phrase there. In addition, we have just heard from the Secretariat or Advisory Body that they received the report in September, but they have not reviewed, and therefore it is premature to judge without reviewing the reports. Therefore, I would like to see the amendment as it is now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. India?
Excellency, we are having state parties discuss on the amendments. So may I request the amendments to be put on the screen so that we can take a call on it. Thank you.
جمهورية مصر.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Egypt would like to thank the distinguished Minister of Tourism and Heritage of Zanzibar for the clarification provided on state of conservation of the stone town of Zanzibar. We welcome the effort of the Tanzanian government in this regard and commend its commitment to improve the situation of the site. We believe that the reference to the possible inscription on the list of World Heritage in danger is not the best approach to address the challenges facing the property and doesn't convey a positive message of support towards the effort exerted by Tanzania. We support the amending the draft decision to reflect the information provided by Tanzania to conserve the property. I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Rwanda.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rwanda would like to support the amendment as presented by Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you. المملكة العربية السعودية.
السلام عليكم. المملكة العربية السعودية تود أن تدعم التعديل المقدم من جنوب أفريقيا، ونشكر جهود الدولة الطرف بما تقوم به بالعناية بالموقع، ولا نرى أن يتم وضعه على قائمة الخطر. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا. دولة قطر.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. L'État du Qatar soutient la proposition proposée par Zambia et bien évidemment, j'ajoute mon voix à tous les États membres qui ont remercié le dialogue entre l'évaluation body et l'État parti et les efforts vraiment proposés et faits par l'État parti. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much. Japan.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Carefully hearing the discussion between several parties and also hearing the voice of state parties, firstly, we commend the state party have huge effort on the conservation of this important town. Considering the discussion and considering the comment made by Belgium, we would suggest in the final sentence, revised paragraph 16, but should we make it now or later on the paragraph by paragraph part? How can I make it, Chair?
So we will go when we move to the examination of the draft decision. Nigeria.
Thank you, Chair. We also believe that it's premature to propose listing this site and the list of endangered. So we support the amendment on table. Thank you.
Thank you very much. St. Vincent and Grenadines.
Mr. Chair, it is not about support or not support, but we need to see the amendments on the screen because there are many amendments and many paragraphs. So please, Mr. Chair, if we can see the amendments as requested also by Ambassador of India and to go paragraph by paragraph to see what we can support and what we can amend. Thank you.
Indeed, Your Excellency. So if there are no more questions, then we can move to the examination of the draft decision and examine paragraph by paragraph. But I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have received amendment from the distinguished delegation of Zambia, which is supported by the distinguished delegations of Egypt, Ethiopia, Mali, Nigeria, Rwanda, South Africa, and Qatar. And from the floor, we have also received confirmation for these amendments from the distinguished delegation of Oman, Saudi Arabia, and Nigeria. There are amendments to several paras, so we will go para-wise, starting from para 3, where point A, B, C, D are merged into one para. The revised para 3 notes the completion in 2020 of the Stone Town Conservation and Heritage Management Plan, the implementation of the new management structure, and the state party's commitment to implement legislative changes to align the legal system with the STC HMP, and requests the state party to resubmit the final STC HMP to the World Heritage Center following its amendment, including placing the protection and maintenance of the outstanding universal value central to the aims of STC HMP, and embedding heritage impact assessment as an essential component of the management system of the property. End of para. The next para for revision is para 6, where there is just a slight change in the original text. Further requests the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center for review by the advisory bodies, point A, the documentation of the Safe Mobility Program for Stone Town and the reported 5-year implementation plan, and point B, detailed documentation for the proposed Malindi bus stand before any decisions on its implementation are made that may be hard to reverse. The revised para 7 reiterates its request to the state party that the 2016 mitigation measures for the Mambo Mesiki building be urgently implemented, and also that the recommendations of the 2019 reactive monitoring mission be implemented. Revised para 8 thanks the Sultanate of Oman for its commitment to rehabilitating the House of Wonders and Palace Museum, and also thanks the World Monument Fund and Zamani Project Research Group for participating in the joint experts mission following the partial collapse of the House of Wonder and the World Bank, for its support for the property through the Boosting Inclusive Growth in Zanzibar program. Revised para 9 notes the state party's commitment to submit to the World Heritage Center details for the reconstruction, restoration, and reuse of the House of Wonders, the Palace Museum, the Bhavani Hotel, and the Tipu Tip House, and requests furthermore the state party to implement past committee decisions in developing these plans. Revised para 10 requests the state party, specifically in regard to the House of Wonders, to submit the results of the requested research project to investigate the chronological history of the House of Wonders and its construction technologies through archival and on-site investigations to the World Heritage Center for review by the advisory bodies, and urges the state party to develop alternative proposals for the rehabilitation of the House of Wonders, and constitute the proposed scientific committee and submit these details to the World Heritage Center for review by the advisory bodies. Revised para 11, recalling paragraph 172 of the operational guidelines, requests moreover the state party to engage in the rehabilitation of the House of Wonders and other projects and submit details of conservation approaches, contractual agreements, and designs, and timelines for the rehabilitation of the House of Wonders to the World Heritage Center for review by the advisory bodies, and feedback to enhance the proposal before any further contractual agreements for implementation are entered into. The revised para 13 expresses its concern at the continued perilous state of conservation of this property as reflected in the disharmonious urban development and transformation. Revised para 14 encourages the state's parties in collaboration with the World Heritage Center and other partners to continue undertaking effective conservation measures towards improved management and governance of the property in addressing the prevailing urban development pressures. For this para, we had a proposal from the Secretariat to add in collaboration with advisory bodies after the World Heritage Center. We could propose that in collaboration with advisory bodies and other partners. The revised para 16 finally requests the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1 February 2024 a report on the state of conservation of the property and on the steps taken to implement the recommendations for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 46th session. For this para, we have the support of distinguished delegations, as you can see on screen for the original para, whereas there was a proposal for retaining the original text by the distinguished delegation of Belgium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to give the floor to Japan.
Thank you, Chair. On this paragraph 16, although we understand the basic idea of the draft, revised text, but we would suggest to retain the first part of the sentence from considering two outstanding universal values, considering the consistency with other paragraph, including revised para 14. We suggest this if the state party of Tanzania feels helpful to have this text in the decision, because our point is to help the state party and mobilize conservation effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Belgium?
Thank you, Chair. Just to make it clear that that was exactly also what we were thinking about. So we were not proposing keeping the original paragraph, but rather do what Japan just proposed.
Thank you very much. So now we have like two positions, but let's examine the whole draft decision paragraph by paragraph. So paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. Paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, there are no amendments. Do you agree on this? Adopt them as it is? I see no. So there are no objections. India?
Thank you, Chair. We would also align ourselves in support of this draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So with respect to paragraph 1 and 2, there are no objections. Then adopted. Paragraph 3, we have a proposal. Do we agree with this proposal? Belgium?
Thank you, Chair. Considering what was explained to us by the advisory body, we would suggest maybe not stick to the ABC system, so we're perfectly okay with making it one sentence, but keeping what is now under B, just adding further analysis and identification of the attributes which convey OUV.
Thank you very much. So, do we agree with this updated amendment? So you see, like here, like Belgium wanted to retain the original text, and there the proposal, we have a proposal, like we have the previous proposal, and you wanted to keep the original text. So that's why I wanted to hear from the committee members. Are we in line with this proposal? Sultanate Oman.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Can we, because there's several deletions, can someone or the reporter read us the paragraph, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The rapporteur.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The para 3 now reads as, notes the completion in 2020 of the Stone Town Conservation and Heritage Management Plan, the implementation of the new management structure, and the state party's commitment to implement legislative changes to align the legal system with the STCHMP, and requests the state party to resubmit the final STCHMP to the World Heritage Center following its amendment, including placing the protection and maintenance of the outstanding universal value central to the aims of the STCHMP, and what distinguished delegation of Belgium has asked to retain, further analysis and identification of the attributes which convey OUV, and embedding heritage impact assessment as an essential component of the management system of the property. It's end of para.
Thank you very much. So as we can see from the screen that the majority wanted to delete, and Belgium, you wanted to retain the text. So are you okay with the deletion?
Actually, Chair, I'm not hearing any opposition to us proposing to keep it with the addition of the word further, but I'm in your hands.
So I'd like to ask the committee members if you're like in agreement with Belgium's proposal. So, South Africa? St. Vincent and Grenadines. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We support the proposal of Belgium in paragraph B. It is logic after what we are asking for in paragraph A. And also we support the last amendment also presented by Japan and supported by Belgium at the last paragraph. Thank you.
Thank you, St. Vincent. So also I'd like to hear from the rest of the committee members. Egypt, you may have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Frankly, I'm a little bit lost, and I cannot understand where we are right now. And I would ask the delegation of Belgium to explain exactly the amendment they are proposing to the text. Because in the paragraph we're just looking at, if it's only the word further, so I would appreciate if they can just explain to us the amendment they would like to present. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Belgium, you may can explain, and also I'd like to ask the Secretariat to highlight Belgium's proposal.
Thank you, Chair. What we are trying to do here is that we clearly heard from the advisory body that the state party has been working on the identification of attributes, as we all have been doing these past years, but that it's not finalized yet. So we just want to therefore include the original idea, but add the word further to make it clear that a lot has been done already. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ethiopia?
Thank you, Chair. due to number of amendments on this paragraph, we can't really understand exactly what the paragraph says. I think the way it is organized, I have the support what has been said by the distinguished ambassador of Oman. We can't see the full amendment in a paragraph. I couldn't understand. Would you mind please to state it that way?
So maybe we can project the amendment without track changes so that maybe it can be clearer. Thank you. So I'd like also to ask the rapporteur to assist us and explain the changes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have now merged the paras. I hope it's more readable for the committee members now. The revised para reads as, notes the completion in 2020 of the Stone Town Conservation and Heritage Management Plan, the implementation of the new management structure, and the state party's commitment to implement legislative changes to align the legal system with the STC HMP, and requests the state party to resubmit the final STC HMP to the World Heritage Center following its amendment, including placing the protection and maintenance of the outstanding universal value central to the aims of the STC HMP. And this next phrase is what is supported by the distinguished delegation of Belgium. Further analysis and identification of the attributes which convey OUV. And embedding heritage impact assessment as an essential component of the management system of the property.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Nigeria?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the amendment proposed by Belgium does not make sense because we are talking about the STCMP, HMP, and I think the OUV covers everything. So I don't see why that part which says further analysis and identification of the attributes. It doesn't make sense really. And it makes the sentence not, it doesn't flow well. Thank you.
Thank you. So now, since we saw the paragraph without the track changes, can we go back and see the proposed amendment by committee members? Ethiopia?
Thank you. Now, when the statement is written, it is a big paragraph without having number. It should have been presented into two sentences to be clear. Following this idea, I also suggest that the first statement, which requests the state party to do all the placing the protection in the maintenance of the outstanding universal value central to the aims of the ST. CHMP could exactly explain what is being added by the distinguished delegate of Belgium, so that we kindly request that doesn't bring any additional idea on what has been done, so that we request the first proposal be decided.
Oman?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would like to concur what has been said by Ethiopia. Let me say that I have no problem about the insertion from Belgium, but I think it is not there because it's now dividing the sentence. Therefore, if we put the suggestion of Belgium in, we are using here ABC, in a sub down there, so it is requesting this analysis. That might help to clarify the paragraph. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to go back to Belgium. Do you agree with the committee members to delete your proposal?
Well, if that's the majority, then of course we will go with the room, Chair.
Thank you very much. So now with this amendment, are we all in agreement? Any objections? So I see no objections. And then the amended paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 5. India?
Excellency, can the changes be incorporated in the paragraph which has been adopted as amended so that we could have a look at it? Thank you.
Absolutely. India clear?
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much. So we move to paragraph 4 and 5. There are no amendments. Do we agree to accept them as they are? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 6, we have an amendment. Do we agree on this proposal? I see no objection. The paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 7, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this proposal? I see no objections. The paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 8, we have a proposal. Are we in agreement with this proposal? I see no objections. The paragraph is adopted. India.
Excellency, we request that the name of the State Party of India also be reflected as supporting our brothers from Zambia, Ethiopia, Egypt, Mali, Nigeria, Rwanda, South Africa, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and Nigeria appears twice. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. So we are in agreement with this amendment? So I see no objections. The paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 9, we have an amendment. Are we all in agreement with this proposal? I see no objections. The paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 10, we have a proposal. Are we all in agreement with this proposal? Belgium?
Thank you, Chair. Regarding the deletion of advised by the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies, we would suggest to keep it in some way, but add to it should the state party so wish, so that at least if the state party feels that the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies could be of help, they could refer to the committee's decision to convince them to make themselves available. And then regarding the proposed scientific committee, it's our understanding that it is in place and that the Secretariat and the advisory body have been informed. So we would suggest to delete the last part of the decision that refers to the scientific committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So, are the committee members in agreement with the Belgian proposal? So I see no objections. I would like to ask Belgium to re-explain your amendment and please mention it slowly so that they can, the Secretariat, type it.
Yes, thank
clearly.
you, Chair. And I think I can understand your question. I don't think the wording of the part of the advice by the World Heritage Center and the advisory body is okay yet. So the idea is that we feel that it would be good if the state party could call on the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies if it so wishes, and that should in a way be included in the decision.
Does the appear text reflect your proposal?
The idea is there, but and I'm not a native speaker, but I don't think it's the most elegant way of phrasing it.
Ecomos? You would like to say something? Belgium?
Maybe we could go with the assistance of the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies if the state party so wishes.
India?
Thank you, Chair, for giving the floor. There is a little confusion we would like the Secretariat to clarify. The para 10, it begins by saying, and I'll start from that the results of the requested research project to investigate the chronological history of the House of Wonders and its construction techniques through archival and on-site investigations. So that's part A of this paragraph. And then it says that urges the state party to develop alternative proposals. So just wanted a clarification. What are these alternative proposals? Whether there is any main proposal that was submitted by the state party, which we perhaps have looked into or haven't looked into? Just this clarification, please.
Thank you very much. I will pass the floor to the Secretariat.
ICOMOS would like to respond.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yes, there have been quite a number of proposals for the House of Wonders during the years, and unfortunately the collapse of a portion of the building changed the approach that's required to rehabilitate the building, hence the word alternative in the draft decision. Thank you.
Excellency, can I request ICOMOS to please speak in the mic? Thank you.
I apologize. Should I repeat?
Yes, please.
Right. Excellency, as I said, and I'll repeat myself, there have been some past proposals for the House of Wonders. Unfortunately, the situation changed when a portion of the building collapsed, and the State Party is now in the process of developing alternative proposals. This is a technically challenging rehabilitation project, and it's going to require investigation of the alternatives and their consequences. I hope that I've clarified the matter.
Thank you very much. Roman?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would like His Excellency the Minister of Tourism of Tanzania to answer that, because according to my understanding, there are proposals and it is submitted to the World Heritage Center. I'm sure, and I would like to hear also from the World Heritage Center, because this is now a bit confusing to submit a proposal. And we know there are proposals after the collapse. The State Party developed a proposal and should be submitted to the World Heritage Center. So I would like to hear from both, from His Excellency the Minister and from the World Heritage Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Can we direct a specific question to the Minister?
The question is whether they have a proposal for their rehabilitation or not. I know there is, but I want to make sure. And whether that proposal is submitted or was submitted to the World Heritage Center. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The State Party of Tanzania, you may have the floor.
Mr. Chairperson, based on the question that was asked, we would like to reassure your table, Mr. Chairperson, yourself, and the delegates this. All documents and all findings have been working on along with the representative of the NATCOM, which is the National Commission of Tanzania, the gentleman who was just here next to me, but also to the regional office and to the headquarters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll go back to the Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to clarify, I would like to confirm that on the 5th of September, as was previously stated, we have received a global strategy for the House of Wonders, which is currently under review, as was stated earlier, and so this was not reflected, of course, in the draft decision. We also received on the 25th of August documents relating to Darajani, and yes, and additional material was also received just yesterday, on the 13th of September. So I would like to ask the distinguished delegate of Oman to bear with us and the advisory bodies to give us time to review these. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So are there any other comments? Oman?
In this regard, Your Excellency and advisory body, in this regard, since there are something to be reviewed, and when we say here the State Party to submit an alternative proposal, I don't think it is suitable. Therefore, I would like to see that deleted, because there are things that is submitted to you, and you need to review them. And if we say to resubmit, it means that you are going to reinvent the wheel. So I would like to see that deleted, and I would like to emphasize the good relationship between Tanzania and the World Heritage Center and the advisory body. It's very important to communicate. I think it's very important they sit and communicate and clarify things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Maybe I'll give the floor back to the Secretariat, maybe to clarify something.
Thank you, Chairperson. This is just to help you in finding the suitable drafting. It is now clear that there are some materials that the Secretary has received yesterday. So you may wish to redraft the sentence by saying also including the alternative proposals for the rehabilitation of the House of Wonders. And then it includes it, and the Secretariat will continue doing the revision that it started. Thank you, Chairperson, but it's up to you committee members.
Thank you very much. India?
Excellency, after the explanation given by the State Party of Oman and also the Honorable Minister of Tanzania, since the documents for these so-called alternative proposals are not with us, as of now, we would also support the Omani suggestion to have the same deleted. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other comment? So we'd like to ask the Secretariat to reflect the changes, the updated changes. Now, India, Oman, is that okay for you?
Can we clear it, the deleted thing, and we see the paragraph, please, clean?
Can we have the paragraph without strike changes? Your Excellency, is it clear now?
It is clear.
India?
It is clear.
The rest of the committee members? Are we in agreement with this? Any objections? So it seems we are all in alignment with this. So I would like to ask the Secretariat to put it back again with the track changes. Thank you. So since there is no objection on this, I would like to adopt the draft. I would like to adopt the paragraph as amended. Paragraph 11, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this? It seems there is no objection on this. So the paragraph is adopted.
Excellency.
You're India. Go ahead.
With your permission, Excellency, I think the changes have been incorporated for which we had raised our flag. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no more interventions and no objections. So the paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 12, there is no amendment. Do we agree to accept it as it is? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 13, we have a proposal. Are we in agreement with this proposal? I see no objections. Then the paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 14, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this proposal? I see no objections. Then the paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 15, we don't have any amendments. Do we agree to accept it as it is? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 16, we have a proposal. Do we agree to this proposal? It seems there is no objection. Since there is no objection, then the proposal is adopted as amended. Then I invite you to adopt the draft decision as a whole. And if there is no objection, I declare the draft decision 45Com 7B.37 adopted as amended. Now I would like to invite the Director of the World Heritage Center, Mr. Ilondo Asomo, to read the list of the cultural properties inscribed in the World Heritage List located in the Africa region for which the reports are proposed for adoption without inscription. You may have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. The following cultural properties located in the Africa region for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion are Island of Mozambique, Mozambique, Sudanese-style mosque in the northern Côte d'Ivoire, Côte d'Ivoire, historic town of Grand Bassam, Côte d'Ivoire, Asmara, a modernist African city, Eritrea, Aksum, Ethiopia, lower valley of the Omo, Ethiopia, forts and castle, Volta, Greater Accra, Central and Western regions, Ghana, Apravasigat, Mauritius, Oshun-Oshogbo Sacred Grove, Nigeria, Shukur Cultural Landscape, Nigeria, Island of Saint Louis, Senegal, Fossil Hominid Sites of South Africa, South Africa, Kutamaku, the land of Batamariba, Togo, and ruins of Kilwa Kisiwani and ruins of Songom Nara, United Republic of Tanzania. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The committee agrees on the State of Conservation report. I declare the decision read out adopted. Also, I'd like to revert back to the Director of World Heritage Center to read the list of the cultural properties inscribed on the World Heritage List located in the Arab States region for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion. You may have the floor, Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. The following cultural properties located in the Arab States region for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion are historic Cairo, Egypt, Rabat, modern capital and historic city, a shared heritage, Morocco, Jebel Barkal and the sites of Napatan region, Sudan, Kasbah of Algiers, Algeria, ancient Thebes with its necropolis, Egypt. Memphis and its necropolis, the pyramid fields from Giza to Dashur, Egypt. St. Catherine area, Egypt. Babylon, Iraq. Baptism site, Bethany beyond Jordan, Al-Maktas, Jordan. Petra, Jordan. Umerasis, Castromefa, Jordan. Byblos, Lebanon. Wadi Kadisha, the Holy Valley and the forest of the cedars of God, Hosh Ars el-Rab, Lebanon. Tyr, Lebanon. Medina of Essaouira, formerly Mogador, Morocco. Hima Cultural Area, Saudi Arabia. Historic Jeddah, the gate of Makkah, Saudi Arabia. Archaeological site of Carthage, Tunisia. And Medina of Sus, Tunisia. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. If the committee agrees on these state of conservation reports, I declare that the red decisions are adopted. Egypt, you may have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Following the adoption of the decision on the state of conservation of the World Heritage Countries properties in the Arab states, without discussion, I would like to underline the following points. First, as a committed member, mindful of the committee's time and efficiency, Egypt had chosen not to initiate discussion on certain decisions pertaining to certain properties. Also, we do have specific comments on certain paragraphs within these decisions. Our intention is to provide a comprehensive response to all the points raised in these decisions in our forthcoming updated State of Conservation report. These reports will be preceded by thorough heritage impact assessment studies, ensuring a comprehensive and well-informed approach. Second, the challenges of population growth and the urgent needs to address basic necessities compel states to take measures in pursuit of sustainable development. It is undeniable that finding the delicate equilibrium between preserving our rich heritage and fostering sustainable development represent a genuine dilemma confronting most states party to the World Heritage Convention today, as evidenced by widespread discussion during this current session. Egypt remains steadfast in its dedication to both preserve its world heritage and promote sustainable development, recognizing the paramount importance of harmonizing these two essential goals for the benefit of our nation and future generations. Third, Egypt affirms its unwavering commitment to preserving its precious and unique heritage while continually striving to enhance its conservation and management plans. These efforts not only safeguard our heritage, but also enrich the lives of our local communities and preserve the urban fabric of sites, fostering a deeper sense of cultural pride in this world heritage. Egypt remains vigilant, ensuring that no activity is undertaken that would diminish the outstanding value of our heritage, as we are dedicated to its protection and the well-being of future generations. Finally, Mr. Chairman, Egypt values its close cooperation with the World Heritage Center and the ICOMOS, and it appreciates the progress achieved recently through the recent exercise of preparing the Heritage Impact Assessment for a project in the property of the Memphis and its necropolis. We are willing to continue this close cooperation with the Center and ICOMOS to overcome the challenges facing the implementation of the Convention in a constructive and cooperative manner. I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think we have requests from the floor, from the NGOs. World Heritage Watch, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The global values of St. Catherine Area World Heritage Site in South Sinai are seriously threatened by the massive Egyptian government tourism development implemented without prior consultation with either the 1,500 years old monastery of St. Catherine and the local Bedouin community, and without a published impact assessment. Much of the historic village and its biblical landscapes and vistas have been irretrievably destroyed, along with local Bedouin homes, essential services, schools, and even the cemetery, further marginalizing this community. The UNESCO office in Cairo, along with the Arab Regional Center in Bahrain, should immediately organize an official assessment visit, followed by ongoing monitoring visits to the site with a view to inscribe the property on the list of World Heritage in danger. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So, now we have a request to open the discussion on the group of monument of Hampi in India. So I would like to know whether there are any comments or interventions from the committee members. Aman?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. As for opening for this debate and the draft amendment proposed by Oman, first I would like to commend the work done by the ICOMOS and efforts undertaken by the State Party to respond to the concern previously expressed by the committee. Let me start by giving our general remarks on this subject. India has put a lot of efforts into fulfilling the obligations set out in the previous decision of the committee and has provided most of the required documents. This includes a report on the state of conservation in March 2023 in a response to the decision of the committee and to several conservation issues raised by third parties. We propose three modifications of the original text. In para 5, amendment proposed with reference to the direction of World Heritage Center to not use material for road widening from within the World Heritage property. As has been submitted in the state of conservation, the collapse of Kamal Mahal enclosure wall at this site was due to unprecedented rainfall in the region and not due to the extraction of materials for road building. The area of the nominated property is protected and monitored against any form of mining or illegal activities. In para 8 and 9, amendments are proposed with regards to the reactive monitoring mission recommended by World Heritage Center and date of submission of SOC to be changed from 1st February 2024 to 1st December 2024. We believe more time is needed to address the concern raised and take care of the ongoing issues. Various matters highlighted in the World Heritage Committee communicated dated 13/04/23 have been examined by the State Party and communication initiated with the respected associated department and stakeholder. In order to resolve matter, certain administrative measures have also been proposed by the State Party and are under process. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to pass the floor to the Secretariat and ICOMOS to respond to this comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Distinguished committee members, the World Heritage Center, ICOMOS, and ICROM duly noted the proposal of Oman introducing the amendment to this draft decision. For the World Heritage Center, ICOMOS, and ICROM, the concerned initial draft elements are supposed to address the lack of detailed information from the State Party, notably on the reported work of widening the road inside the property near the Kamalapur tank and corresponding heritage impact assessment in due course, and especially before any irreversible actions are taken in the interest of preventing the erosion of the outstanding universal value of the World Heritage property. Allow me also, Mr. Chairperson, distinguished committee members, to explain that the reactive monitoring mission is a helpful mechanism included in the operational guidelines, first and foremost, as a means to reporting by the Secretariat and the advisory bodies to the World Heritage Committee on the state of conservation of specific properties and on issues posing potential threat to the OUV of the property. They also stimulate close cooperation in the field among the Secretariat, advisory bodies, and the concerned State Party. If the State Party wishes to postpone the next reporting to the World Heritage Committee of 2025, instead of the one which will take place next year in 2024, the quick deployment of the reactive monitoring mission is all the more important, contributing to the evaluation of the state of conservation of the property presented to the committee and to initiate discussions with the participation of all stakeholders. With this being said, Mr. Chairperson, with your permission, ICOMOS may be invited to further provide explanation on the proposed draft decision. I thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, ICOMOS.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, members of the committee, the group of monuments at Hampi World Heritage Property has for several years been affected by factors including the lack of an operational site management plan, the effects arising from the use of transportation infrastructure, ground transportation infrastructure itself, and commercial development. Development pressures persist at the property. The property's vulnerability is exacerbated by a delay in the finalization and full implementation of the integrated management plan, a commitment made when the property was removed from the list of World Heritage in Danger in 2006. These issues need to be addressed and pursued with urgency to ensure that robust management systems and plans are in place that can address the property's conservation, protection, development, and management challenges. The World Heritage Centre has not yet received the detailed proposal and heritage impact assessment for the ongoing road widening activity between Kamalapura and Hospiti for review by the advisory bodies, as requested by the committee in 2019. This is worrying as the road near the Kamalapur tank has reportedly been widened already. In view of the vulnerabilities and pressures outlined in the State of Conservation report, it is considered appropriate to request the State Party provide information on the widening of the road near the Kamalapur tank, along with a heritage impact assessment as soon as possible. As this infrastructure project may have had an impact on the attributes of the property which contribute to the OUV of the property, it is also appropriate to request the project be halted to allow for consensus to be reached. The request that traditional materials for roadwork should not be extracted from within the property, contained in item 5 of the draft decision text, reflects the archaeological sensitivity of this property. A reactive monitoring mission to the property is proposed to address the gaps in information and the slow progress in achieving an operational site management plan, and to evaluate development projects within the context of its OUV, in line with the provisions of the operational guidelines. The justification presented for the amendment to postpone the proposed reactive monitoring mission is to give the state party the necessary time to take care of ongoing issues, but it has not been communicated what such ongoing issues are. Postponing a reactive monitoring mission would be to the detriment of actions aimed at maintaining the property's OUV and would delay constructive dialogue with and possible assistance to the state party. The proposal to change the date for the state party's next State of Conservation report can be supported if in combination with the requested reactive monitoring mission, as this would enable the mission to visit the property and its findings would then be available and could be integrated into the working documents for this committee at its subsequent session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass the floor to Japan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My delegation has examined the SOC report on the group of monuments Hampi, and we would like to compliment India for submitting the report and giving us an update information regarding conservation and development within the property areas. We have noted, as per the information available, that the state party has already taken initiatives such as the finalization of the integrated management plan, halting the road widening work, carrying out the impact assessment before any major infrastructure project, to have sustainable solutions for mobility within property areas, etc. We are satisfied with the conservation approach of the Archaeological Survey of India towards the conservation of Hampi group of monuments under the national policy for conservation. While we understand that the state party has taken several initiatives, we would still like India to clarify why India at this moment in time does not want to invite reactive monitoring mission. In light of the interventions from the evaluation bodies, this mission may be able to solve the problems at hand. So I would like to ask a question to the State Party of India as to the reason why India does not want to invite reactive monitoring mission at this moment in time. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Russian Federation.
Спасибо. Уважаемый господин председатель, прежде всего хотел поблагодарить Индию за усилия, которые страна-участница Конвенции принимает по охране наследия. Признательны также секретариату и консультативным органам за данное разъяснение. Индийская сторона представила членам комитета, считаем, исчерпывающую информацию о том, почему проведение миссии на условиях, предложенных в проекте решения, невозможно. В первую очередь это касается сроков проведения миссии, а также календаря национальных мероприятий. Принимая во внимание эти обстоятельства, полагаем целесообразным отложить это решение этого вопроса на более поздний срок, после проведения оценки воздействия на наследие и получения от стороны участницы Конвенции следующего отчета о состоянии сохранности объекта. Поэтому хотел бы поддержать поправки, предложенные Оманом. Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thailand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dear committee members, Thailand wishes to commend India on its efforts on the archaeological work of the group of monuments of Hampi. We have learned that the State Party of India has examined and earnestly taken concerns raised by the World Heritage Center, and advisory bodies, protection and monitoring mechanisms have also been put in place in order to prevent any form of mining or illegal activities in the property. However, Thailand acknowledges challenges the State Party is facing and believes that more time should be given to India to engage in dialogues with relevant agencies and stakeholders, as well as advisory bodies, to address concerns and resolve the matters. My delegation, therefore, would like to extend our support for the draft amendment proposed by Oman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mali?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Nous tenons tout d'abord à remercier l'ICOMOS, l'ICROM et le Centre du patrimoine mondial pour les différentes observations et les recommandations émises à l'endroit de l'État partie de l'Inde pour une meilleure protection de l'ensemble monumental du Hampi. Nous souhaitons souligner ensuite les actions mises en œuvre par l'Inde et qui devraient être mieux reflétées dans le projet de décision. En effet, il est positif que la partie indienne ait déjà conceptualisé certaines mesures administratives qui sont en cours d'élaboration. Nous pensons qu'il faudra plus de temps pour répondre à certaines préoccupations soulevées et parvenir à exécuter les actions y correspondantes. Enfin, nous notons que l'Inde est déjà engagée à protéger et surveiller la zone du bien contre toute forme d'exploitation minière ou d'activité illégale. Toutes ces activités mériteraient d'être clairement reflétées sur le projet de décision. C'est pourquoi nous soutenons les amendements y apportés. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Greece?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would like to thank Oman for submitting these amendments to the current draft decision. We would also like to commend the State Party for submitting a very concise and comprehensive state of conservation report on this property. The group of monuments at Hampi is one of the rare archaeological sites wherein remnants of an ancient city in its entirety can be found. This state of conservation report has been duly reviewed, and we have noted ICOMOS concerns for infrastructure development. Moreover, the report submitted by the State Party indicates that there is no damage to the historic structures and that original materials are not being removed to be used for any development projects. Additionally, we take note of the fact that any new infrastructure project will be subject to the heritage impact assessment. Finally, we would like to congratulate the State Party for having completed the integrated management plan, which is critical for the protection and for the management of this property. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. South Africa?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for giving us the opportunity to make an intervention on this item. South Africa would like to support the State Party of India in requesting that the reactive monitoring mission is not necessary in the light of the additional information provided by the State Party of India. Mr. Chair, we understand the concerns raised by the advisory body ICOMOS regarding the implementation of the integrated management plan and the master plan, including stricter monitoring and reporting regarding tourism development pressures, which may lead to activities which may jeopardize the OUVs of this property, as well as the widening of the road near the Kamalampur and other developments which will require to follow the heritage impact assessment process as required by the operational guidelines. In light of the information provided by the State Party in 2023, we would like to support the amendments as proposed by Oman, which acknowledge the work that the State Party has conducted over the last 6 months after the State of the Conservation Review was compiled. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I would like to pass the floor to دولة قطر.
شكرا السيد الرئيس. أود في البداية أن أشكر الأيكوموس والسكرتاري على تقديمها للتقارير المفيدة والمتوفرة بالمعلومات، وبعد الاطلاع على جميع الحيثيات في هذا الملف المقدمة من الدولة العضو، نود أن نشكر جمهورية الهند بما قدمته من معلومات قد فادتنا في أن نبلور الرأي في هذا الشأن، الذي أفاد بأنه أخذت بالاعتبار العديد من الإجراءات في هذا الموقع بحماية القيمة العالمية الاستثنائية من ناحية، ومن ناحية أخرى أفادت بأن الدولة قد بدأت بالعديد من الإجراءات التي نشكرها عليها، ونضيف صوتنا إلى الدول الأعضاء على دعم مقترح سلطنة عمان بإرجاء هذا التقرير حتى نعطي الهند الوقت الكافي لترتيب وتجنب العديد من قد يكون هناك بعض الإجراءات التي قد تسبب بعض الربكة في مهام المشن من ناحية، ومن ناحية أخرى في الإجراءات الوطنية التي نتطلع بأن تكون لها التأثير في حماية هذا الموقع. لذلك دولة قطر تدعم مقترح سلطنة عمان. وشكرا.
شكرا جزيلا. الدور على نيجيريا.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for giving me the floor. Nigeria concurs with the distinguished delegation of Oman and it aligns itself to the amendment introduced to the DR on this item. We note and commend the State Party of India in its efforts to meet up with the obligations as recommended by the advisory bodies and for demonstrating that there is no damage to the property in its response to the issue raised. We also support the plea to shift the deadline set for the State Party to provide updated report to December 2024, as indicated in the proposed amendment, and therefore request the committee to adopt the draft decision as amended. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor to Italy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Italy supports the proposal to postpone the reactivating mission, also to give advantage to the mission for the further attention that can be put into by the State Party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Belgium.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to join the numerous previous speakers in commending the State Party of India for its efforts in conserving this beautiful site. We also thank the advisory bodies for the valuable work and the relevant reports that we have examined. After examination of the file and all elements, we also came to the conclusion that more time is needed, and we therefore would like to express our support for the amendments that were tabled by the distinguished delegate of Oman. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to pass the floor to St. Vincent and Grenadines.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We congratulate the State Party for the report and for all the information provided to clarify the state of the site. And of course, we understand the concerns expressed by ICOMOS, but the State Party explained very clearly the situation. And of course, we understand that the date of December is better to present the report. And of course, we, for the reactive monitoring mission, I think that the State Party needs more time to implement the measures, and we will see this later in 2 years. Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا. المملكة العربية السعودية.
السلام عليكم. نود أن نشكر دولة الهند على الجهود التي بذلتها لحماية الموقع، وكذلك نشكر الجهات الاستشارية على ما قدمته، ونود أن نؤيد المقترح الذي قدمته سلطنة عمان بهذا الشأن. شكرا.
شكرا جزيلا. بلغاريا.
Thank you, Chairperson. We would like to thank ICOMOS and the State Party for their reports and to commend the efforts by the State Party in preserving the heritage site of Group of Monuments at Hampi. After careful review of the documents, we would like to support the amendments proposed by Oman, as we consider that more time should be given to the State Party to implement the measures. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass the floor to Mexico.
Gracias, presidente. Queremos agradecer los esfuerzos del Estado parte y los reportes tanto del Estado parte como de ICOMOS. Quisiéramos apoyar la propuesta de enmienda de Oman a fin de que eso extienda el plazo para la entrega del informe y permita la realización de la misión de evaluación y la elaboración del plan de gestión como recomienda ICOMOS. Gracias.
Thank you very much. I would like to pass the floor to Argentina.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Y como los intervinientes anteriores, queremos apoyar las enmiendas de MAN a fin de dar más tiempo a la India para dar más información y aplicar todas las recomendaciones que han sido previamente solicitadas. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Ethiopia.
Thank you, Chairperson. Ethiopia would like to join previous speakers in commending the State Party as well as the advisory bodies. And we support the amendment proposed by Oman to allow the State Party to have more time to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rwanda, you may have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would like to join other countries, other members of the committee, to support the proposal made by Oman and on the proposed amendments to postpone the RMM mission. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Ethiopia? It seems we don't have any other interventions, so I would like to give the floor to India to respond to the delegation of Japan's question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving India the floor and for Japan for asking India this question. We would also like to thank other members of the committee for their generous support for India's continuing initiatives towards the conservation and management of the property. Mr. Chair, India does not want a reactive monitoring mission at this moment, for we have from time to time taken a number of steps and initiatives necessary to maintain the outstanding universal value of the World Heritage property, that is the Hampi Group of Monuments. The conservation of monuments is being undertaken by the Archaeological Survey of India and the State Department of Archaeology, and the monuments are being conserved and maintained as per our National Policy for Conservation 2014. We assure the World Heritage Center and ICOMOS that we follow the principles of anastylosis while preserving the monuments and do not use historic building materials to supplant the supply of material required for any infrastructure projects. The ASI and the Hampi World Heritage Area Monument Authority have already finalized the Integrated Management Plan, that is the IMP, and we have committed to implement it. The process is also ongoing to align it with the Hampi Master Plan. India has also committed to undertake the heritage impact assessments in case of any major infrastructure project and inform the World Heritage Center as per the para 172 of the operational guidelines. As of now, the Havama Authority is merely maintaining the infrastructure and undertakes necessary maintenance from time to time. India has often received third-party information through the World Heritage Center that has been replied to. And this one, we have received, in fact, one very recently in April that will also be replied to in due course of time. And this is obviously in confirmation with the paragraph 174 of the operational guidelines. Since we believe that a number of actions have been taken by the state party, therefore we think and we've requested that it is not necessary at the moment to invite the reactive monitoring mission. And in addition, we have also requested for the SOC report deadlines to be shifted slightly because our country will be in the midst of the general elections, which involves billion-plus people. That takes several months of preparation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other interventions? I would like to invite you to adopt the decision 45-7B.175 concerning this property, but before doing so, I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have received one amendment from the distinguished delegation of Oman, co-authored by the distinguished delegations of India and Thailand. And from the floor, we have received confirmations for the amendment from the distinguished delegations of Russian Federation, Mali, South Africa, Qatar, Nigeria, Italy, Belgium, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Saudi Arabia, Bulgaria, Mexico, Argentina, Ethiopia, and Rwanda. The proposed amendment is for para 4, 5, 8, 4, 5, and 8. The revised para 4 requests the state party to provide information on the monitoring of the property, in particular the activities undertaken to address tourism development pressures, as well as the conservation strategy for the protection of the historic mandapas near the Virupaksh temple, in line with the IMP as requested in Decision 37-7B.61. The revised para 5 requests the state party to provide detailed information about the widening of a road near the Kamalpur tank, along with a heritage impact assessment as requested in Decision 43-7B.61. And para 8, the original para 8 requesting the monitoring mission is deleted. So the revised para 8, which was the original para 9, now reads as requests the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1 December 2024 an updated report on the state of conservation of the property and the implementation of the above for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 47th session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Italy, you had anything?
No, it's okay. I didn't see the name of my country. It's okay.
Thank you. So let's examine the draft decision paragraph by paragraph. So paragraph 1 to paragraph 3, there are no amendments. Do we agree to accept them as they are? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 4, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this proposal? I see no objections. Adopted as amended. Paragraph 5, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this amended paragraph? I see no objections. So the paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 6 and paragraph 7, there are no amendments. Do we agree to adopt them as they are? I see no objections. Adopted. Paragraph 8, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this proposal? I see no objections. The paragraph is adopted as amended. Paragraph 8, we have a proposal. Do we agree on this proposal? I see no objections, so the paragraph is adopted as amended. Dear colleagues, I invite you to adopt the draft decision as a whole, and if there is no objection, I declare the draft decision 45-7B.175 adopted as amended. Sultanate Oman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to come back to the point that I promised to come regarding the Bangladesh file. After internal consultation with State Party and other states, we would like to open the draft amendment for discussion after lunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Dear colleagues, due to some technical issues yesterday, two NGOs couldn't take the floor. And before we close our session for lunch, I would like to, with your agreement, give the floor and the opportunity to the NGOs express themselves. The first one is WWF, if they can take the floor.
Sir, since they are not in the room, can I make the statement on their behalf?
It was requested by them, so unfortunately.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Sorry. I didn't have a proper micro. Thank you, Chair. Doñana is facing the worst moment since it was declared national park 50 years ago. Its biodiversity is dramatically disappearing as scientific evidences and voices are showing. There is no time for the dry marshes, the Mediterranean temporal lagoons, and the species of Doñana. From WWF, we request UNESCO to monitor exclusively the implementation of the recommendation and to urge the Spanish administration to carry out together key actions to recover the hydrological functionality of Doñana. In addition, we ask UNESCO to put Doñana in the list of danger as soon as the law proposal to amnesty illegal farms that are stealing the water of this unique wetland in the world is approved, that we expect is going to be approved quite soon. The protection of Doñana was a milestone in the conservation of wetlands in Europe in the 20th century. We are now on time to avoid its collapse in the 21st century. It's more than urgent to act. Thank you for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much. I would like to also give the floor to the 4th Chipewyan Métis Nation to intervene on Wood Buffalo National Park, Canada. You may have the floor. I would like to invite you to take the floor. Can you use the next mic to you?
Hello, good morning. I wasn't made aware I was making the statement today as opposed of yesterday, but I still appreciate the opportunity. Good afternoon. My name is Carmen Wells, and I'm here today as the Lands and Regulatory Director for the Fort Chipewyan Métis Nation. Fort Chipewyan Métis are Canadian constitutionally protected Aboriginal rights holders in Fort Chipewyan in northern Alberta, Canada. They are from the land. They live on the land. Their food and water is from the land. It is their home. One of our elders recently told me, as we talked about the environment, he told me, healthy land, healthy people. And that stays with me to this day. Wood Buffalo National Park is within the traditional territory of Fort Chipewyan Métis, so it is part of their home. Wood Buffalo National Park is faced with increasing threats. Seepage of tailings ponds, discussions of releasing treated oil sands affected process water into the mighty Athabasca, which flows into the Peace Athabasca Delta in Wood Buffalo National Park, and climate change. Everything is connected, as the elders say. Fort Chippewa and Métis are worried about these increased pressures on their home. The nation has always worried about being downstream from the Alberta oil sands and an underlying ongoing worry of a breach of those tailings ponds. And now, Fort Chippewa and Métis is faced with doubt. Doubt of whether they should eat the fish they caught, the animals they have hunted, the water they have drunk from the land. Fort Chippewa and Métis has been working with the state party along with other neighboring nations on improving the health of the park. And our nation has been working hard to make sure our voice is heard with this process, that our concerns are being heard. We have made some positive strides. The reactive monitoring mission is fulsome. However, our community is on a tight timeline with climate change, with potential treated tailings water release. A tailings risk assessment has been delayed and needs to be brought in as a priority. We have to ensure the timelines become clearer and accountabilities are brought to the forefront before we run out of time.
Thank you so much. Also, I would like to pass the floor to the World Heritage Watch to intervene on Hampi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The local community living at Hampi for hundreds of years and being an integral part of the heritage is being completely disregarded in the processes discussed here, in contradiction to stated UNESCO policies, and has had almost no say in the classification and nomination process and gets completely neglected in the conservation and management of the site. The scope of HWHAMA is only limited to the group and monuments and not the surrounding living landscape. HWHAMA has no taluk or village level representative, and that creates a disbalance of power dissemination among grassroots level authorities such as village panchayat and state and central level authorities, leading to imposed regulation and distrust in the community. Heritage management policies developed by HWHAMA show an exaggerated emphasis and reliance on infrastructure and resource-intensive development plans, economic gain and enhanced investment in the core of their strategy that has resulted in over-commercialization and the displacement of traditional livelihoods. The loss of traditional livelihood, over-dependence on tourism, marginalization of local communities, and gentrification challenges are not addressed in the UNESCO policy framework. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass the floor to the Director of the World Heritage Center for some announcement before they close the session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Just to remind you that we will have two side events during lunchtime. The first one, which will start at 1:30 in the HEGRA room, which is the advisory body space, and it will be on the launch of the World Heritage Online Maps platform, and it is organized by the UNESCO Secretariat and Flanders. And the second site event will take place in a rock art room. It will also start at 1:30, and it will be on fostering collaborations on heritage experts between Africa and the Arab world. And it is organized by the Arab Regional Center on World Heritage, the African World Heritage Fund, the ALIF, and UNESCO Secretariat. So you have the two side events today. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. So wish you a wonderful lunch break. See you afterwards.